Now, Hanuman, after having concluded that Sita has beautiful and compassionate eyes, he goes one step further and says, I have been thinking that Ram must be a foolish person to keep on worrying about a lady who has been abducted by a king. He belongs to a Kshatriya class. He must have remarried. This is what was my feeling before I saw Sita. But now, after having seen Jagannatha Sita, now I feel that Ram is a very hard-hearted person, because had it been anybody else in Ram's place who would have lost their wife by a demon who had abducted her, they would have lost their life. Because Sita is a lady who, being a wife to someone, that person is the most fortunate person in this world. Ram is the most fortunate person in this world, there is no doubt about it. But he must not be a person of light heart, he must be a hard-hearted person, because he is still surviving after having seen that his wife was abducted by a demon. Dushkaram kritavan Ramo hino yadanaya prabhu dharayatyatmano deham na shoke na vasidati. Now, Hanuman has seen Sita for such a long time. He has had the anubhavam of her great qualities and her bhakti. Now he turned towards left and then right. He saw the most ugliest creations on the world around Sita. Sita was the most beautiful and the most respected lady in this world. Around her there were the most ugliest creations. They were all the Rakshasis of Lanka who were appointed by Ravana to guard Sita. So, Valmiki does not stop with this also. He gives a very beautiful description as to who these Rakshasis were and how they were looking. Ekakshi ekakarnam cha karnapravaranam tatha akarnam shankukarnam cha mastakonchana vastanastikam आतिकायोत्तमाङ्गीं च तनुदीर्घशिरोधरां ध्वस्तकेशीं तथा केशिलम्बतधारिणीं लम्बकर्णाललाटां च लम्बोदरपयोधरां लम्बोष्ठीं चुम्बुकोष्ठीं च लम्बास्यां लम्बधानुकां यस्वां दीर्घां च कुब्जां च विकटां वामनां तथा करालां भुग्धवक्त्रां च पिङ्गळाक्षीं विकृत्तननां पिङ्गळाक्षीं Karalam, Bhugnavaktram, all these names denote that one lady was there with only a single eye, Ekakshi, Ekakarna, one lady had only one nose. That is there for us also, we also have only one nose. But the nose placement is very important. She was a lady whose nose was below her mouth. There was another lady whose eye was there in the middle of her stomach. There was another lady whose mouth was that in the shape of a conch. There was another lady whose head was totally colored red. Even today people have started coloring red. No, they must all be belonging to these Rakshasis parampara, because all these Rakshasis were also dyed red. Moreover, one lady was looking like a huge pillar. She was as huge as that. So Valmiki gives a very beautiful description as to how these Rakshasis were looking. He was not interested in describing these Rakshasis, but he just wanted to pinpoint that Sita was like a beautiful moon that was caught amidst the dirtiest creations in the world. While Hanuman was just witnessing the beauty of Sita, the beautiful features and the qualities of Sita, and on the other hand seeing the Rakshasis who were guarding her, he saw Ravana coming from a very far off distance. As Ravana approached Sita, who was seated under the Shimshupa Vriksham, Sita covered her first. She took a piece of her sari and covered her hands, her legs that were visible outside to an outsider. Urubhyamudaram chadya bahubhyam cha payodharau upavishta visalakshi rudati varavarnini. She felt very uncomfortable and quite embarrassed sitting before Ravana. Ravana came right before Sita and said, Kamaye tvam visalakshi bahumanyasva mam priye sarvanga guna sampanne sarvaloka manohare yadyat pashyami te gatram shitamshu sadrushani tasmin prathushromi chakshurmama. Hey Sita, why are you looking somewhere else? Look at me. Sita, you have been loved and respected by the entire world. You are the one with beautiful eyes, Sita. You have thin hips. And it's high time, Sita, that you become my wife. And as Ravana said this and put one foot forward, Sita broke one fresh blade of grass and kept it in the middle. Trinamantarata kritva pratyuvacha shuchismita. The same line has been told by Goswami Tulsidas, who says, Trinadhari ot kahati dehi sumir avadhapati param sanehi. Now, why did she keep that grass in between him and her? Was that grass one huge weapon for her? Or is there some significance to this? All our acharyas have commented exclusively on this concept as to why Sita placed a fresh blade of grass between him, that is Ravana, and her. In those days, even today, forget about today, in those days, when a king or a person who is in the administration in a very high post comes to your place, you are supposed to offer him an asanam. An asanam is a place where he could sit. Sita had nothing in her hands. She was staying in his kingdom. Where will she go for the asanam? So she knew very well, though Ravana had committed the apacharam of abducting her, though he had committed the apacharam of killing a great Bhagavata like Jatayu, he was still a king. And for that position, she had to respect him. As there is a Shastra Vakyam which says, Asanamanna mudakam deyam abhave bhumirudakam trinani. Asanna manna mudakam deyam. Asana manna mudakam deyam means you will have to offer him an asanam. If you do not have an asanam to offer to the king, the Shastra gives you another way. Abhave bhumirudakam trinani. Then break a fresh blade of grass from the ground and offer that as a seat and ask him to assume that this is the asanam that you have offered to him. So Sita used that Shastra Vakyam and broke that grass and placed it before him and said, Hey Rajan Ravana, though you have committed so many apacharams, I am the daughter of Janaka Maharaja. He has taught me all the Shastra Vakyas, and so it is necessary for me to abide by what my father Karmayogi Janaka has taught to me. So I am placing this blade of grass. After having given the first reason, the acharyas go to the second reason. In those days, neither the men of a house will talk to the women of the other houses very closely, nor will the women talk so closely to the men of other houses. They used to talk, but there used to be a distance. And Sita knew very well that Ravana was a person who had abducted her despite knowing that she was the wife to somebody else. So he has abducted her with the intention of marrying her, which Sita did not agree. So she wanted to show her opposition and reluctance by placing a screen in the middle. In our concept of Sanatana Dharmam, there is nothing like burqa or parda. We don't wear white, black, blue and dress and all that. So she wanted to show her reluctance, and hence she placed this grass, telling him that this blade of grass is like a screen between both of us. If I had wished to see you, I would have not kept this grass. Why am I keeping this grass, hey Ravana? Because I do not wish to see you. Because it is said that if you place a grass between two people out of reluctance, that blade of grass will act as a screen. Stambena salilena va pankti bedo bijayate. Then she also said, hey Ravana, initially I thought that you are a king and I wanted to offer an asanam. Then I did not like your thoughts and I wanted to place this grass as a screen between both of us. But what I feel is, you are a person who is not even equivalent to this blade of grass. You may say that you are powerful, you may say that you have acquired so many boons from Brahma and Shiva and all the gods. I am not bothered. Before me you are none but this blade of grass. Before me, both you and this blade of grass are the same. Trinam Natva Trinaya Manye. I do not even respect you as much as the respect I give for this blade of grass also, Ravana. The Tamil poet Kamban uses a vakyam. There is a vakyam which says, Jnanena hinaha pashubhihi samanaha. To a person who is born as a human being, but who is also given the intellect to use and have the common sense, but does not have that sense of using that particular knowledge which has been bestowed on him, is equivalent to a cow which eats grass. Hey Ravana, don't you know that my husband Sri Ram is in this incarnation, whereas in his previous incarnations as Parashurama, prior to that Vamana, and prior to that there was one avatara, hey Ravana. That avataram was called as Narasimha avataram. And in that Narasimha avataram, Hiranyakashipu, who was a demon who had similar qualities like you, had one great son, and that great son's name was Prahlada. Prahlada was sent to school, to Gurukulam. At the end of it, when his father asked as to what you have learned, the little boy said, I have learnt about bhakti. And when the father asked, whom are you going to do that bhakti for? The little boy said that my bhakti is always towards the feet of Srimad Narayan. When his father asked as to where your Narayana is, tell me which is the place where your Narayana is. The little boy said, he is there everywhere, my dear father. He is there in this pillar. He is there in that pillar. He is there in this asanam. He is there in that asanam. He is also there in a single blade of grass. That little boy had said. But Bhagavan came out of that pillar when Hiranyakashipu struck that pillar. He did not come out of the grass because Hiranyakashipu did not break that blade of grass. Had he broken, Bhagavan would have come. But to prove the words of his devotee, I will tell you, my Bhagavan will come out of this blade of grass, whatever I have placed here. When he came out of that pillar to respect the words of a great devotee like Prahlada, I am very sure, Ravana, that my Bhagavan will come as a great lion from this blade of grass and kill you. So don't even try touching me or coming forward. Swami Vedanta Deshika explains as to with how much of force and fierceness Bhagavan came out as the man lion from the pillar which Hiranyakashipu struck. Sata patala bhishane sarabhasa attaha sodbhate spurat kridhi parisputad drukadike vivaktre krite kripa kapatake sarindanuja dimbadattastana saroja sadrisha drisha vyatisha vijyadyate vyajyate. Likewise, Sita said, forget about the Narasimha avataram, he Ravana, you may not remember. The next avataram was that of Vamana avataram, he Ravana. Don't you remember that my Bhagavan came in the form of a little dwarf as the younger brother to Indra called as Upendra? He went as the little dwarf Vamana to the Yajnavatam of Mahabali Chakravarti. Mahabali out of arrogance said, whatever 3 foot of lands you've asked, you may take. When he said that you may take, it was a duty, Ravana, that the person had to offer Tirtham, the Jalam, from the Kamandalam. When he was about to take the Kamandalam, Shukracharya came and said, hey Mahabali, don't offer land to this particular boy. I feel that this boy is not a little ordinary boy. He is that Paramatma. He is the Parabrahmam Sriman Narayan. Don't offer land to him. Despite that, Bali said, if I have given the word, I will not take back, I will have to offer. Then Shukracharya went in the form of a little bee and went in that dwaram of that particular Kamandalam. When Mahabali Chakravarti wanted to offer that jalam in the hands of Vamana to prove that he has offered that particular land, the water did not come out because the water's passage was blocked by that particular bee. Then, realizing that Shukracharya has come in the form of a bee, Bhagavan took one trinam, one blade of grass, and then got it inside that dwaram and pricked the eye of the bee. Hence Shukracharya lost one of the eyes. When he has taken no efforts to even take off one eye of Shukracharya, how much time will it take for him to take out your life, Ravana? Hence I am placing this grass as that particular evidence to show that the same grass was used by Bhagavan in Vamana Avataram to take away the eye of Daitya Guru Shukracharya. So be very careful, Ravana. Then Sita said, I spoke about Narasimha Avatar. I also spoke about Vamana Avataram, Ravana, but I will tell you one Avataram, that is Rama Avataram. During this incarnation itself, when both of us were there with Lakshmana in the Chitrakutam, there Jayanta, the son of Indra, came in the form of a crow and started piercing my bosom. At that point of time, blood started oozing out of this place where I was poked with. Then Bhagavan, Sri Ramachandra, Raghava, seeing that I was being troubled by that particular crow, took one blade of grass that was next to him and aimed this as Brahmastram. And that Brahmastram followed this particular Kakasura, Jayanta, and he had to go run in all the 3 worlds where none of them offered him Abhayam, and he came and fell at the foot of my Bhagavan Sri Ram. So my Bhagavan Sri Ram has the capability of taking a blade of grass, doing a mantrocharanam and making it a Brahmastram. Don't think that he needs an arrow which is made by the blacksmith. He doesn't need any such arrow. Even a little blade of grass is enough for him to do the mantrocharanam and make it a Brahmastram. So please be very careful. thought that this incident happened in Chitrakutam has been conveyed very beautifully by Swami Vedanta Deshika, who says, Pishita Ruchi Vihita Durita Vala Mathana Tanaya Bali Buganugati Sarabasa Shayana Trina Sakala Paripatana Bhaya Chakita Sakala Sura Munivara Bahumata Mahastra Samarthya. Using that Darbham as a astram, he did the Brahmastra Ucharanam, and that Brahmastram followed this particular Jayanta who came in the form of Kaka, that is a crow. Valmiki says this wherein he says, Dharantaram gata shigram pavanasya gatau samaha sadarbha sanstarat grihya brahmanostrena yojayat. Sita said, Hey Ravana, the grass that I have placed between you and me is also a witness to my chastity, to my celibacy, to my pativratyam, and the same grass is also a witness to the bad behavior that you are exhibiting towards another person's wife. Hey Ravana, you have tried to woo me with all your wealth, with this beautifully constructed Lanka, but I will tell you, however beautiful this Lanka may be, how much ever wealth you are offering to me, all that will just be like a blade of grass before the great qualities of my husband Ram. Vividhani cha vasamsi divyanya bharanani cha. Hey Ravana, in just a few more days, my Bhagavan and his brother Lakshmana will come and rescue me. At that point of time, the beautifully constructed Lanka, about which you are boasting to every person whom you see, will be burned to ashes, and you will not have even a single mansion left where you can stay with your family. At that point of time, you may need something to build your cottage. So I have broken this fresh blade of grass. Please take it home, collect few more such blades of grass and build one cottage in the outskirts of your city, because in a few more days your city will be burnt to ashes. Lanka ratnaugha sankulla aparadhatya vaikasya nachiradviradi nashyati. But I will tell you one more thing, Ravana. Why should I be dependent on Ram also? With my pativratyam I can say that if I do the Ucharanam, Bhasmarha Tejasa, may this Lanka along with its king Ravana be burnt to ashes. It will happen. Hence I am using this particular grass to show you that it will not take minutes or seconds for me to burn you. So don't even reach forward. Then Sita started advising. All this while she just placed this grass and she was warning him using various evidences and anecdotes. Now she also wanted to advise Ravana. Hey Ravana, you are regarded as one of the greatest Brahmins. You are also regarded as one of the greatest kings and administrators. I can see that Lanka is being administered very beautifully. You are having your own children. You are having your wife. At that point of time, why do you want to place your eyes and your lust on somebody else's wife, hey Ravana? Nivartaya manomattaha swajane priyatam manaha namam parthayitum yuktastvam siddhimiva papakrit akaryam namaya karyamekapantya vigarhitam kulam sampraptaya punyam kule mahati jataya. Hey Ravana, people say that you have come in a very good kulam, you have a very good background. Why do you want to spoil the name of your background? Please show all the love and affection that you have towards me on your children and your wife. That will be more important and they will reciprocate. It is so irrelevant and it is so useless if you are showing and showering all your love on me, who is supposed to be the wife of somebody else. Hey Ravana, but don't worry, now that you have abducted me, you have committed a very bad and a very uncivilized act. My husband Ram will be very angry, but once he comes here and rescues me, I will see to it that he does not do anything with your city. He does not do anything with your children. He will not harm you, neither will he harm your children or your family. I will surely recommend that Ravana has committed out of his childlike behavior. He is also like our child. So please forgive him, hey Ram. I will recommend, I will put your case forward and I will be your advocate. Don't worry. Shakyalo bhayitum naham aishwaryena dhanena va ananya ragavenaham bhaskarena yatha prabha. Hey Ravana, don't you think that my Ram, who has come in the great solar dynasty, is like a sun, and from that sun whatever race come, that race can be called as Sita. If I am the race, he is the sun. If he is the sun, that is Suryaha, I am the Prabha, I am the light, I am the rays which come out of him. Why do you want to destroy the nature here? Why do you want to separate the rays of the sun from the sun itself? Mitramaupayikam kartum Ramam sthanam paripsata bandham chanichata ghoram tvayasau purusharshabha prasadasya chaiva sharanagatavatsalam mam chasmai prayato bhutva niryatayitumarhasi. Hey Ravana, I will surely see to it that Ram does not harm you, neither your citizens nor your city. Hey Ravana, isn't even a single person in your city exist who advises you in the right way? Isn't there a single sadhu in Lanka who comes and says, Hey Ravana, please free Sita and let her go to her husband Ram? Isn't there a single nice person, a civilized and a well-cultured person in your city? When Sita said this, she did not think about Vibhishana. After she said this, she immediately thought, I have made such a huge mistake. I have already committed one Bhagavata Apacharam by insulting Lakshmana, due to which I am having this particular bad experience. Why should I insult even Vibhishana? Initially, she told Ravana that not even a single good person exists in Lanka. Now she corrected her sentence and said, even if there is a single good person, when she said that even if there is a single good person, she actually meant Vibhishana. So she said, even if there is one such single, good, well-cultured, civilized person, and if he advises, you are anyhow not going to listen to his words. So it doesn't matter whether there is an existence of good soul or not. Sadhu dharma Mevekshasva sadhu sadhu vratam chara iha santo navasanti sato vananuvartase iha santo navasanti. Not even a single sadhu is there in your city. Even if there is one, sato vananuvartase, you are not going to listen to them. Because she actually meant the existence of a great soul called Vibhishana. Parashara Bhatta in Sri Rangarajastavam says, Hanubhusha Vibhishanayoho syam yatamaviha mokshumupekshya Raghunayaka nishkraya bhutam bhuvi rangadhamam ramayate. So we actually meant that Vibhishana was the nice soul who was present in Lanka. Then Sita gave a very beautiful prophecy. She said, Hey Ravana, you think that no message has come to me as of now. My Ram will not sleep until he sends a messenger to me who conveys that Ram is going to come and protect you, Hey Mata Sita. This concept is being conveyed by Kamban, the Tamil poet, who says, Ayadu therin bunna avinayagan yeyadu tudu vandu yedirum yennumal தீயது தீயவர்க்கு எய்தல் தின்னம் என் வாயது கேள் என் மருத்தும் கூறுவாள் என் வாயது கேள். Please listen to my advice, Ravana. If you listen to me, you will also save your life and you will also save the lives of all your citizens. Otherwise, you are sure to die like a firefly. If you generally see in those days, they used to light lamps outside the house, and in the evenings and during the night times, a lot of fireflies will come and start doing a pradakshanam of the fire. Finally, they will fall inside the fire and they will die. Likewise, I am the fire and you are the firefly. You are trying to approach me with so much of lust and kamam, wherein you have your own wives and you have your own children. At this point of time, if you come like a firefly which comes near fire, because of my pativratyam Ravana, you will be burned to ashes. Apaneshyati maam bharta tvata shighram arindamah asurebhya shriyam deepta vishnu tribir vikramaihi. The same concept, like how he will be burnt to ashes if he thinks wrong about Sita, is being conveyed by Goswami Tulsidas, who says, Sunu dasamukha kadhyot prakasa kabahu kini nalini karai bikasa. And finally Sita said, Hey Ravana, as I have said, I still have time to say Bhasma Bhasmarha Tejasa and destroy you. But I am still giving you time, Ravana. Tasya dharmatmanah patni snusha dasharathasya cha katham vyaharato mam te najihva papashiryati asandeshat tu ramasya tapaschanupalanat natvam kurmi dashagriva bhasma bhasmarha tejasa. We are totally horripilated after such a beautiful explanation what Sita gave as to how Ravana should behave. But Ravana, on the other hand, got a lot agitated after having heard such a long explanatory speech from Sita. Hence he said, Hey Sita, enough of your explanation. I am totally angry with your explanation and I don't want any more reasons from now. I'll give you 2 months time. in this 2 months' time, if you are not agreeing to my request that you will have to be my wife, I will see to it that you are dead and your husband Ram will also be dead. द्वौ मासौ रक्षितव्यौ मे यो वधस्थितमया कृतः ततः शयनमारोह मम त्वं वरवर्णिनी. Then he told all the Rakshasis, we have already seen the beauty of all these Rakshasis, Ekakarna, Ekakshi and all that. So he looked at all the Rakshasis and said, hey Rakshasis, you have all been appointed to guard Sita, guard her well, and teach her and tell her that she has to be my wife. Use 4 tactics. Sam, Dan, Bhed, Danda. The first Samam is reconciliation. Tell her that you will have to compromise with Ravana because Ravana is the most powerful person in this world. You will be fortunate to be his wife. Keep on telling her this. If she does not agree to this Samam, then follow Danam. Tell all my ministers to bring the most precious ornaments on this world. They will arrange for it and give her. Using all these gifts, try to impress her. Even then, if she is not agreeing, do a Bhedam. I will do the tactics, I will surely do it. I will see to it that in the army of Ram itself, I will try to make them into different parties, create enmity amongst them, create divide, and I will rule the entire world. If that is also not possible, punish Sita heavily. The 4th tactic is Dandam, please do it. Pratilomanulomaischa samadhanadibedhanaihi avarjayata vaidehi dandasya udhyamanena cha. After he said this, he walked very fast towards his mansion. All the Rakshasis were afraid. They all came to Sita with their swords and the other weapons and started threatening her. Hey Sita, you are the most fortunate woman in this world, for you have been proposed by Ravana, the great king. We are all waiting for such a time and for such a juncture. Instead of using this particular opportunity, you are saying no to what my king Ravana says. We will kill you if you do not listen to this. They said, Manushi Manushasyaiva Bharyatvam Bahumanyase Pratyahara Manuramanevam Jatu Bhavishyati. Then a huge voice broke out. That lady was Trijata. Though she was a Rakshasi, she was a civilized, a well-cultured and very compassionate Rakshasi because she was the daughter of a great Bhagavata called as Vibhishana. Her name was Trijata. She said, all Rakshasis, please clear the place right now and leave Sita free. She came close to Sita and said, hey Sita, I can understand your situation, but don't worry Sita. I had a very beautiful dream this morning. The dream was both beautiful and bad. I will tell you what the bad part was. I saw our king Ravana, whose head was totally shaven. His tonsured head had lot of black marks on it. His body was entirely smeared with hot oil. He was dressed in red clothes. He was seated on a donkey, and the donkey was walking on a road on a path that was full of smelling, obnoxious cow dung, and that way was moving towards the southern direction which goes towards Yamaloka. I believe, Sita, that there is some bad omen from this, that there is some harm that is going to happen for Ravana. Ravanascha maya drishto mundastaila samokshitaha raktavasaha pibanmattaha karavira kritasrajaha rathena karayuktena raktamalyanulepanaha pibastailam hasanrityan भ्रान्तश्चित्तकुलेन्द्रियः कण्ठे बद्ध्वा दशग्रीवं प्रमदा रक्तवासिनी काली कर्दमलिप्ताङ्गी दिशं याम्यां प्रकर्षति. The same thought Kamban celebrates in Tamil. He says, எண்ணெய் தன் முடிதோறும் இழகீது இலாத்தின் நெடுங்கழுதை பேய் பூண்டதேரின் மேல் அண்ணல் வேலி ராவணன் அறத்த அடையன் நன்னினன் தென்புலம் நவையில் கரியாய். She also said, hey Sita, while on one part I saw that Ravana was facing bad omens and he was going towards the southern direction towards Yamalokam, on the other hand I saw clear skies. On those clear skies I saw a beautiful golden throne. On that golden asanam, Ram, along with you, Sita, both of you were seated. Both of you had worn white clothes, Shweta Vastram, and both of you had worn beautiful jewels. Beautiful jewels were adorning your neck as well as his neck. Both of you had beautiful golden crowns, and surrounding you were Vibhishana, were Lakshmana, were Bharata, were Shatrughna, and were great rishis. I can tell you, Sita, that surely in a few more days you will get together with your husband Ram. Don't worry about this. Yuktarambari स्वयमास्थाय राघवः शुक्लं बाल्याम्बरधरो लक्ष्मणेन समागतः स्वप्ने चाध्यमया दृष्टा सीता शुक्लं वरावृता रामेण सङ्गता सीता भास्करेण प्रभाविता आरुह्य पुष्पकं दिव्यं विमानं सूर्यसन्निभम् उत्तरां दिशमालोच्य प्रस्थितः पुरुषो